Timecode NOLA. The New Orleans Independent Film Program.
Well, my name's Tim Ryan, and I am the co-director of The Drive. Well, of course, it started with Hurricane Katrina. I was at the time the executive director for the New Orleans Video Access Center, and after Katrina, our main funding was to teach kids, public school kids, after school video production classes. And so all the schools were closed, and this was Novak's kind of main thing at the time. So one of the board members, Matt Wisdom, kind of knew that there wasn't much going on with Novak and said, what do you think about co-producing a project on different neighborhoods post-Katrina New Orleans? And he got some funding together. We got some funding from the Greater New Orleans Inc., from Newman's Own Foundation. Matt Wisdom got some funding from his family and friends. So we decided at that point to produce a 1-hour driving tour through some of the most devastated neighborhoods in New Orleans. And that's where we came up with The Drive. So at the time, those of us that live here remember Congress and folks throughout the nation kind of debating, you know, why should we rebuild this city? I mean, it's below sea level, and it's got bad crimes, it's got bad schools. There was a debate as to whether or not to rebuild New Orleans. So that was like, oh no, we've got to do something, you know, from a local point of view. If we want to show the nation what things look like here, we better do something. So that was the motivation, that was the drive behind The Drive. And the goal was not so much to produce, you know, like a PBS or a feature-length documentary. I mean, it turned out to be 1 hour, but the goal was to really get the point of view, a local point of view of what these neighborhoods really look like, and to get it out as quickly as possible. And that's why the goal wasn't so much to go to TV or to DVD even, it was to get it out on the internet. You know, this is when YouTube's kind of early days of YouTube. So we wanted to get each neighborhood segment out as a standalone as quickly as possible on the internet. And so yeah, there was definitely, we definitely felt like we had to do this. You know, otherwise the message that was being conveyed to the nation was CNN and, you know, and national news outlets, and it was a different point of view than what we saw and what we felt. We felt a need to tell this story, right? So we wanted to show the duality of what was going on in New Orleans at that time. On the one hand, we had mile after mile of devastation that you just don't quite get unless you drive through it and see it firsthand, and that was the point. We wanted to do a raw visual tour from the point of view of someone sitting in a car, driving through these neighborhoods. And it's painful to watch because it doesn't seem to stop. It's kind of boring at times, but that's the point, is to show in a single cut, a single take. This goes on you could drive for hours and hours and not touch the entire area, the 144 square miles that were affected by the flooding. So that was one part of the project. Let's tell the story. Let's let people see what this looks like firsthand. But then the other side was we wanted to show, at that same time when people are questioning, should we rebuild New Orleans? Should we put all this money into the city? We wanted to show the people, the culture, the architecture, all the just really cool, amazing things about New Orleans, again, from a local's point of view. So Novak, again, part of this program was to do The Drive, but to also work with local filmmakers, commission them to produce 3 to 5 minute short videos on the people, things, culture, things that make it such a great city. So combined, then we had, you know, the doom and gloom, the reality, but then also, but wait, Congress, wait, people throughout the nation, this is an amazing city, it has so much to offer, so that's why we need to rebuild it. So that was the package, that was the entire DVD, you know, project. So after Katrina, so many crazy things were happening, and I had nothing to lose, so I reached out to, at the time, Stephen Chan, who was the co-founder of YouTube. There's two guys, he was one of them. I found out through it's hard to get his direct email, so I went to the venture capital firm that funded YouTube And I sent an email to some random guy that I saw manage the YouTube account. And I said, hey, I'm Tim Ryan. I'm a little filmmaker here in New Orleans. We're doing a story about post-Katrina New Orleans. And I was wondering if you can give me Steven's email address. I'd love to see if he could maybe help us get a good position on YouTube. You know, it's kind of naive. I didn't know. And sure enough, he forwarded my email to Steven Chan from YouTube. He said, yeah, man, just, you know, send it to me, upload it, and I'll get it featured. So he featured it on the homepage, which, as we all know now, is a big deal. If you can get featured on the homepage of YouTube, you're going to be guaranteed a few 100,000 views. So we got listed on YouTube, and next thing you know, we've got, like, at this point, I think it's been viewed maybe 1.7 million times, roughly, which is a big deal, you know, for a little guy, a little city, a little video, a little documentary. It got some really good global exposure. So that was our main distribution. Well, so I left Novak at the end of '08 to work freelance and to just try to make it on my own. Not so much in filmmaking. I'm doing video production, you know. So I'm a camera guy. I'm editing. I'm producing stuff. I'm directing. I've been trying to stay focused on helping other nonprofits, since my background was with Novak. So I've been doing a lot of work for local and national nonprofits. I've been working with the Greater New Orleans Community Data Center on some little projects. I have a national client, the National Alliance for Public Charter Schools. I did a project for the New Schools for New Orleans, a little mini documentary. And then I did a gig for Google recently. So I'm doing a little bit of everything. In terms of filmmaking, my friend Royce Osborne and Larry Russery, who's an editor with YES, we got commissioned to produce a documentary for the Zulu Social Aid and Pleasure Club to celebrate their 100-year anniversary, which is this year, 2009. So we started working on that about a week and a half before Mardi Gras this year, and we managed to capture a ton of footage of course, Mardi Gras, but we also got Lundi Gras and we got the Zulu Ball. And so now we finished phase one of capturing a lot of that footage, but the documentary isn't necessarily going to be about the 2009 Mardi Gras. It's going to be about the history, the 100-year history. So we've managed to get some footage from the 1956 Zulu parade, which I guess hasn't been seen before locally.